They released Jonathan Ward yesterday, speedster, veteran running back. He's been here for the last 2 seasons. He showed up last year during rookie minicamp. He looked pretty good. They kept him around. At some points, he was returning kicks throughout the season. He's been around the league. He's not the worst name that you could possibly have on a roster, but one that you would like on the roster, probably not. But the Pittsburgh Steelers moved on. They signed him to a futures. He was the first guy that they signed to a futures contract this offseason, which means that they clearly saw something in him. Since then, they've added Trey Sermon. Since then, Cordarrelle Patterson has been around. They're moving on from Jonathan Ward. And while Jonathan Ward is a no topic of conversation name in the NFL right now, he does not move the needle whatsoever. There is a name behind him that everybody wants to know about. And the question emerges now that you move on from him, are the Pittsburgh Steelers just gearing up to keep Cordarrelle Patterson? Is this where we're at? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers somehow just saying, look, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what the fan base is seeing, but this guy's part of our team and part of this plan moving forward. They release Jonathan Ward. They keep Trey Sermon. They keep Cordarrelle Patterson. Is it a move that in your eyes, I mean, because you're looking at it going, what are you gaining by getting rid of Jonathan Ward? You're adding reps to the guys behind him because Jaylen Warren's not going to need a boatload of reps this summer. Caleb Johnson's going to want some reps, but how many reps are you really going to give him? Not a whole ton. And Kenneth Gainwell's a veteran. Trey Sermon's going to make his spot, so hopefully he gets a ton of reps to kind of prove himself. Then Cordarrelle Patterson. Is it a move in your eyes that says, yeah, maybe we should start getting it through our thick skulls that Cordarrelle Patterson's here to stay?
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but I think the release of Jonathan Ward, not that he was going to be stealing any snaps or carries once the actual regular season came up, but with him not being on the team anymore, Cordarrelle Patterson is the running back that I have heard literally nothing about. And I heard very little about him last year. And, there he was all of a sudden. And then it seems like a year later, we are kind of in the same position. I think he is one of those veterans that is, just as you put it, a part of the team. And I think that, whether as the fan base likes it or not, whether it's the best roster decision, on June 20th, 2025, it doesn't seem like it, but it seems like they are shuffling the deck in order to keep a veteran around, at least as far as training camp is concerned. Because I think when I look at it, I would imagine Cordarrelle Patterson has a better chance of making this 53-man roster than Trey Sermon does.
Yes.
So when I look at the running back room, I would imagine the four would be Jaylen Warren, Caleb Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, and Cordarrelle Patterson. Does that sound like that's going to be the four that the Steelers go into the regular season with to you?
It does. It actually does. And I think they like Trey Sermon. I think they like what they could get out of Trey Sermon. But at the same time, like he's not a second-year guy, a third-year guy. He's a fifth-year running back in the NFL. The dude's been around. He's had opportunities to play well in the league. He's never done so. While the Steelers had interest in him coming out of Ohio State, they aren't looking at him right now saying this is a dude that is here to become the next splash running back on our roster. They're looking at him saying he's going to take some reps, and if he looks good enough, maybe, just maybe, he gets a shot, but chances are he's on the practice squad. And that's who they're looking at with Trey Sermon. I think it's stunning a little bit that Cordarrelle is still here, and I think the fact that they are still making moves to identify and to lessen the competition for him is really in your eyes. If he does make the roster, okay, Cordarrelle does make the 53-man team, what is the role? Does he have one? Last year's role was, say what you want, before the injury, significant. Before he dealt with the ankle injury, Cordarrelle was out there. He was catching fades in the end zone in crunch time to win games. Is that where he's at this year? Like, does it matter? Are they just in love with Cordarrelle? Do you see what is the outlook on him and his role if he does make the team?
Regardless of whether he, what his role was last year and what his he was a significant piece of the 2024 offense before the injury. I will certainly concede that.
Yes.
But I think in 2025, there is no role for him on the Steelers offense. I don't see how he should be taking away snaps from Jalen Warren, especially when it comes to, like the passing game or pass blocking. Like I know Cordarrelle Patterson is certainly a receiving threat in his heyday, but
yeah,
I mean, there was nothing about his performance in 2024 that made me feel like he was an essential and vital part of the Steelers offense moving forward. So I think I'm as shocked and as stunned as you are that like there is even a conversation to be had at this point of the offseason. Like I recognize he was once a great returner, had a lot of, explosivity. He had a lot of big plays, but like
you hesitate.
I just
so
don't. He's not going to be a kick returner or punt returner now for the Steelers,
No.
and I don't see what his role as a feature back would be or as a pass catching running back is. So yeah, I see no role for him on the Steelers, and unless someone can learn me something better about this, I don't know.
No, I don't think there is one. I think it's kind of mind blowing that it doesn't make sense to have a 33-year-old veteran. I think he is at this point, which if he's another running back at 33 years old, he doesn't have a job. Like he's 33 years old. The NFL would just look at him and say, nah, this guy is too old to play running back in the league. He's past his prime. But Cordarrelle Patterson, he's got a job because he could do it all, except he can't do anything. And you're looking at him right now saying, I'm not giving him reps at training camp. If he returns kicks for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I'll give the warning now, there is a chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to say, this will be our biggest mistake of the season, and it will be Cordarrelle being a feature guy within this roster, whether you guys like it or not. There is that opportunity, that possibility for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I would go out, and we're going to get into moves here in a second, but I would go out and I'd look for a younger option, and I would look for other options. Jonathan Ward maybe wouldn't be that guy, but I wouldn't be keeping Cordarrelle Patterson around to touch the ball 4 times during training camp, go half-assed while he's doing so, and then attempt to make a roster, really just be handed a roster at this point in his career. Doesn't make any sense. At all. All right.